Clint Eastwood turns 94, and this is the stunning house he calls home today. At 94 years old, Clint Eastwood remains a living legend, a Hollywood icon whose legacy spans generations. From Dirty Harry to Gran Torino, he's defined tough, timeless characters but off-screen. Eastwood lives a very different kind of story. Tucked away from the spotlight, the house he now calls home reflects the man behind the legend. Elegant, rugged, and full of character. It's not just a house, it's a piece of cinematic history, a sanctuary for a man who's seen nearly a century of Hollywood unfold before his eyes. So what does life look like for Clint Eastwood in 2025? Where does a 94-year-old icon rest, reflect, and still create? Stay with us as we take you inside the peaceful, powerful world of Clint Eastwood and the home that tells the story of a true American original. Clint Eastwood isn't just a name in the credits, he's an icon who stamped his legacy across 6 decades of Hollywood history. With a jaw-dropping net worth of $375 million, Eastwood didn't just act, he owned the screen, delivering gritty, unforgettable performances that made him the ultimate tough guy of American cinema. But his life off-screen, just as bold and fascinating. From a garage full of high-end luxury cars to sprawling real estate fit for a king, Eastwood lives the way he works, unapologetically legendary. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on the man behind the myth. Trust us, you're going to want to stick around for this ride. Eastwood isn't just a household name, he's a multi-hyphenate powerhouse. Actor, director, producer, and yes, even a former mayor. But his rise to fame wasn't overnight. It was a climb, one marked by grit, smart choices, and ever-growing paychecks that mirrored his magnetic draw at the box office. Rewind to 1968, Eastwood stars in the Western Hang 'em High and earns a cool $400,000. But that's not the impressive part. He also negotiates a deal that gives him 25% of the film's net profits, a rare and bold move at the time, and a clear signal. This man was more than an actor. He was a savvy businessman. That same year, he doubles his earnings with Coogan's Bluff, cashing in a $1 million paycheck. And the hits keep coming. In Where Eagles Dare, still 1968, he pockets $750,000. Fast forward a decade to 1978, and Eastwood commands a jaw-dropping $12 million for the action comedy Every Which Way But Loose, proving that his star power was only getting brighter. And it didn't stop there. By 1984, he scores $5 million for City Heat, and in 1993, a smooth $7 million for In the Line of Fire. Each role didn't just add to his fortune, it built an empire and cemented his status as one of the highest paid, most respected figures in the industry. But before the fame, before the money, before the cowboy hats and ardent magnums, there was a boy named Clint, born May 31st, 1930, in San Francisco. At birth, he weighed in at a hefty 11 pounds, 6 ounces so big the nurses nicknamed him Samson. The Eastwood family moved up and down the West Coast through the 1930s, chasing work and better opportunities. Eventually, they landed in the upscale community of Piedmont, California. There, life looked picture perfect, a house with a pool, multiple cars, even a country club membership. But young Clint didn't exactly play by the rules. He struggled in school, got held back, and eventually got kicked out of Piedmont High for, get this, carving an obscene message into the school's scoreboard. Still, he finished high school at Oakland Technical and jumped into the working world. Lifeguard, grocery clerk, golf caddy, even a forest firefighter, Eastwood did it all. And during the Korean War, he was drafted into the Army. But fate had a twist waiting. He was stationed at Fort Ord, not in combat, but as a lifeguard. And that's where everything changed. At Fort Ord, Eastwood met Chuck Hill, a man with ties to Hollywood. Hill introduced him to cinematographer Irvin Glassberg, who then linked Clint to director Arthur Lubin. One look at Eastwood's rugged face and calm, commanding presence, and Lubin knew this guy had something. He urged Eastwood to take acting classes, advice that would light the spark for a career that would soon catch fire. From rebel teen to American legend, Clint Eastwood's journey is a story of grit, reinvention, and unshakable presence, both on screen and off. And if you thought you knew him, Well, there's a whole lot more to discover. Clint Eastwood didn't wait around for fame to find him, he chased it down. In the early days, he was just another face in the crowd, hustling for bit parts and screen time. His first real break came with a blink and you'll miss it role in Revenge of the Creature. Nothing major yet, but Clint kept at it, stacking up small roles, waiting for that one big moment. It came in 1959. He landed a starring role in Rawhide, a gritty Western TV series that ran for 6 seasons. The show made him a household name, at least on the small screen. But Clint wasn't about to settle for TV fame. He wanted more, much more. Then came 1964, and the gamble that changed everything. Clint packed his bags and headed to Italy to star in a low-budget Western that hardly anyone in Hollywood took seriously. That film? A fistful of dollars. What no one saw coming was that it would explode into an international sensation. The success launched 2 even bigger sequels. For a few dollars more in the good, the bad, and the ugly. And just like that, Eastwood transformed from TV cowboy into global movie star. He kept the momentum going with Hang 'em High in 1968, playing a man wrongly hanged and left for dead, who returns as a lawman with vengeance on his mind. It was raw, powerful, and unforgettable. The movie crushed at the box office, and Eastwood walked away with $400,000 plus 25% of the profits. A power move, both on screen and off. But the 1970s? That's when Clint Eastwood went from star to unstoppable force. In 1971, he stepped into the gritty shoes of Inspector Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry. With his .44 Magnum and icy stare, Clint didn't just play a cop, he rewrote the rules of the action genre. The film exploded, becoming a cultural phenomenon and birthing the immortal line. Do you feel lucky, punk? Multiple sequels followed, and Eastwood became a bona fide action icon. But Clint didn't want to just act, he wanted to control the narrative. So in 1973, he directed High Plains Drifter, a dark, atmospheric Western that showed the world he had just as much talent behind the camera. 3 years later, he delivered The Outlaw Josie Wales, a gritty, emotionally charged Western that critics and fans hailed as a masterpiece. And then Clint flipped the script. In 1979, he ditched the gunfights for laughs in Every Which Way, but Loose, a comedic romp with an orangutan sidekick. Yes, really that became a surprise hit. It was proof that Eastwood wasn't just a tough guy, he was a storyteller who could play in any genre he wanted. As the 1980s rolled in, Clint only got better. In 1983, he returned as Harry Callahan in Sudden Impact, the most successful film in the Dirty Harry franchise. But it was 1985's Pale Rider, a haunting, poetic Western that revealed a deeper, more nuanced Clint Eastwood. Then, in 1988, he took an unexpected turn with Bird, a moving biopic about jazz great Charlie Parker. It was personal, emotional, and nothing like anything he'd done before. The film earned him a Golden Globe for Best Director. By the 1990s, Clint Eastwood had entered his golden era not just as a movie star, but as one of Hollywood's most respected filmmakers. In 1992, he returned to the genre that made him famous with Unforgiven, a brutal, soul-searching Western that flipped every cowboy cliché on its head. It wasn't just another shoot-'em-up. It was a masterclass in storytelling raw, honest, and unforgettable. The film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. It was Clint Eastwood's ultimate triumph, but far from his last. And if you think the story ends there, think again. By the mid-1990s, Clint Eastwood wasn't just a household name, he was a force of nature in Hollywood. And in 1995, he showed a softer, more vulnerable side in The Bridges of Madison County, starring opposite Meryl Streep. In this tender romance, Eastwood shed the tough guy image to deliver one of the most heartfelt performances of his career. Audiences saw not just a cowboy, but a man capable of deep emotion, subtlety, and soul. Then came a new chapter. In 1997, he pivoted toward intrigue and suspense, diving into political thrillers and literary adaptations with Absolute Power and Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. These weren't just films, they were statements. Eastwood was proving he wasn't confined to one type of story. He was a true cinematic craftsman. And even as the years rolled on, Clint didn't slow down, he shifted into a higher gear. In 2008, at an age when most directors are long retired, Eastwood unleashed Gran Torino, a raw, powerful drama that struck a cultural nerve and crushed the box office. His performance was magnetic, his message unforgettable. He followed it with American Sniper in 2014, a juggernaut of a film that rocked audiences worldwide. It pulled in over $540 million and earned 6 Academy Award nominations. Eastwood had done it again, made a movie that wasn't just watched but felt. And just when critics whispered, maybe he's done, Clint gave them the mule in 2018. At 88 years old, he directed and starred in a film that reminded the world he could still carry a story with quiet power and emotional depth. But Eastwood wasn't finished. In 2021, at 91, he returned to the screen in the director's chair with Cry Macho, a reflective, dust-covered tale of redemption, age, and second chances. It was a mirror of his own journey, a man looking back, but never giving up. Then came the unexpected. In 2024, Eastwood surprised everyone with the announcement of Juror No. 2, a tense legal thriller starring Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette. The story follows a juror burdened by a deadly secret, caught in the moral crossfire between truth and self-preservation. It's a gripping, high-stakes drama and possibly Clint's final bow behind the camera. If Juror No. 2 truly is his swan song, it's set to be a powerful farewell from a legend who never stopped evolving, never stopped pushing the limits of what film and he could be. From the dusty shootouts of the good, the bad, and the ugly, to the hallowed halls of the Oscars, Clint Eastwood's journey is nothing short of mythic. He's not just a star, he's a symbol of Hollywood's golden age, a master storyteller who kept surprising us decade after decade. And while the camera may soon stop rolling for Clint, his legacy? That's forever. His success on screen brought more than fame, it built a life most people only dream of. Eastwood's real estate portfolio is a reflection of his refined taste and smart investments, particularly across his beloved California. One of the crown jewels, his Spanish revival-style home in Carmel by the Sea, a picturesque town he's been connected to for decades. Built in 1924, the home captures old-world charm with red tile roofs, white stucco walls, arched doorways, and graceful balconies. It's more than a home, it's a living piece of California history, echoing the elegance and timelessness of the man himself. Tucked away on the scenic California coast, Clint Eastwood's former Carmel estate was more than just a house. It was a sanctuary. Spanning about 4,400 square feet, this Spanish revival gem offered both space and intimacy, blending classic elegance with the peaceful rhythm of nature. Inside, the home featured 4 sun-soaked bedrooms, each framed by oversized windows that filled the rooms with natural light and framed picture-perfect views of the lush landscape. Exposed wooden beams, warm hardwood floors, vintage fireplaces and wide open terraces gave the home a sense of timeless luxury. It wasn't just stylish, it was soulful. Outside, the gardens were a private Eden, meticulously landscaped and rich with greenery. A spacious stone courtyard gave Eastwood a front-row seat to Carmel's famous ocean breezes, a place to breathe, reflect, and escape the buzz of Hollywood. He bought the home in the 1980s, although the purchase price remains a well-kept secret. In 1996, after over a decade of ownership, Eastwood sold the property for around $2.25 million. At the time, Eastwood was in his prime, not only commanding the box office, but also taking on civic duty as the mayor of Carmel by the Sea from 1986 to 1988. This home wasn't just where he lived, it was where he recharged, refocused, and found rare peace. Eventually, Eastwood turned his attention to larger visions, most notably Mission Ranch and Tahama, 2 major real estate ventures in the Carmel area. While his former home changed hands several times over the years, its value soared. In October 2024, the same property sold again, this time for an astonishing $18.55 million, a testament to both the power of location and the Eastwood legacy attached to it. In the early 1980s, Clint Eastwood made another bold move. He bought a sprawling 500-acre slice of land nestled in the hills above Carmel and Monterey Bay. As the years passed, he kept adding to it, growing his estate to over 2,000 acres of raw California beauty. But instead of paving over paradise, Eastwood dreamed up something different. Tahama, a one-of-a-kind private community that blended upscale living with deep respect for the land. His vision? A luxurious, eco-friendly haven where homeowners could live surrounded by nature, not fenced off from it. Only 90 home sites were planned, scattered across 300 acres. The rest, more than 85% of the land, remains untouched, protected as a nature preserve. At the heart of the community is an elite, members-only country club featuring a world-class golf course designed by the legendary Jay Morrish, which officially opened in 1999. With sweeping ocean views and natural tranquility, lots in Tahama originally ranged from $1.5 million to over $6 million, with some properties spanning up to 10 acres. Eastwood kept the best for himself. A breathtaking 14-acre parcel where he built a 16,000 square foot villa, a showpiece of refined architecture and complete privacy. Just a short golf cart ride from the main clubhouse and restaurant, his personal estate is easily worth $15 to $20 million if it ever hits the market. Before Tahama, there was another passion project. In 1986, while serving as mayor of Carmel, Eastwood rescued a dilapidated old dairy farm from demolition. What he built instead became the Mission Ranch Hotel, a beloved upscale retreat in Monterey County. Just a stone's throw from the iconic Carmel Mission sits a coastal treasure steeped in history and natural beauty. Mission Ranch, Clint Eastwood's lovingly restored 22-acre retreat, with sweeping views of Point Lobos, Carmel River Beach, and the shimmering Pacific. The ranch captures the very soul of coastal California. But this isn't just a scenic escape, it's an experience. The charm starts with 31 guest rooms, tucked into 10 unique historic buildings. Each one feels like a page from a storybook, rustic yet refined, private yet connected to the land. It's the kind of place where the past lingers gently, adding warmth to every detail. Guests don't just check in, they unwind. Whether you're dining on hearty American fare at the on-site restaurant or watching sheep graze lazily in nearby fields, the vibe is calm, authentic, and totally unplugged. And when evening hits, the piano bar comes alive, filling the air with music and laughter, a beloved local tradition. Located just a short stroll from downtown Carmel and the postcard-perfect Carmel Beach, Mission Ranch is the perfect base for exploration and relaxation. It's a favorite for everything from romantic getaways and weddings to company retreats and family reunions. And for those who want to keep active, there's the Mission Ranch Tennis and Fitness Club, another thoughtful touch that makes a stay here feel like home with a touch of Hollywood magic. Mission Ranch isn't just a place to stay, it's a place to remember. In 1999, when one of the world's most iconic golf courses went up for sale, Clint Eastwood didn't just watch from the sidelines, he made a move. Alongside friends Peter Uberoth and Richard Ferris, Eastwood helped lead a group of investors to buy Pebble Beach golf links from a Japanese company. Their $820 million offer wasn't the highest, but they sealed the deal by promising to close within 10 days, a bold play that paid off. Eastwood's popularity in Japan at the time may have also helped tip the scales. Though he's not the sole owner, Eastwood remains a key player in the group that owns the course and a passionate protector of its legacy. As a longtime Pebble Beach resident and avid golfer, he's hands-on in ensuring the course remains a world-class destination, and what a destination it is. Pebble Beach Golf Links, perched along California's jaw-dropping coastline, isn't just a course, it's a bucket list pilgrimage for golfers around the world. Designed in 1919 by Jack Neville and Douglas Grant, it's a masterpiece of natural terrain and man-made strategy. The course winds across 6,800 yards of rugged cliffs, rolling fairways, and tricky sand traps. Highlights include the deceptively tough 7th hole, the breathtaking 8th, and the dramatic 18th, a final challenge running parallel to the ocean's edge. Pebble Beach has hosted legends like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Phil Mickelson, and it's the annual home of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, where celebs and pros go head-to-head. And it's not just about golf. With 5-star resorts like the Lodge at Pebble Beach and the Inn at Spanish Bay, plus upscale dining, spas, and oceanside activities, Pebble Beach is the definition of luxury living. When Clint Eastwood wants peace and privacy, he retreats to Hacienda Esta Madera, his private estate in Pebble Beach. Tucked away in one of California's most exclusive communities, this Spanish-style estate is a love letter to timeless design and serene living. Built in the 1920s, the home is full of character with classic adobe walls, rustic wood beams, red-tiled roofs, and gardens that feel like a dream. Eastwood bought the property in 1994, drawn to its old-world charm and perfect location. Over the years, he's made thoughtful updates, preserving the estate's historic integrity while adding touches of comfort and practicality. It's not flashy, it's intentional, elegant, and completely in tune with its surroundings. This isn't just another mansion in Pebble Beach. It's a deeply personal place, a reflection of Eastwood's style, values, and enduring connection to the land he calls home. For decades, Hacienda Este Madera wasn't just a home for Clint Eastwood, it was a sanctuary. Tucked away in the elite Pebble Beach community, this Spanish-style estate became a peaceful retreat, perfectly reflecting Eastwood's love for timeless architecture and the calm of coastal living. But in 2023, the Oscar-winning filmmaker decided it was time to turn the page. He listed the estate for $9.75 million, and unsurprisingly, the buzz was immediate. With its rich backstory, unbeatable location, and direct ties to a Hollywood legend, the property drew in luxury buyers and architecture fans from every corner. What makes this estate even more desirable? It's just minutes from the legendary Pebble Beach golf links and offers jaw-dropping views of the Pacific Ocean. Elegant, storied, and rare, this home isn't just real estate, it's part of cinematic history. Clint Eastwood's love for storytelling doesn't stop at the camera lens, it continues under the hood. His car collection is as cool and character-filled as the man himself. A mix of vintage classics, powerful machines, and quirky finds that each have a tale to tell. Take the GMC Typhoon, for example. In 1992, this SUV turned heads for all the right reasons. It wasn't just built for hauling groceries, this beast packed a turbocharged V6 engine that could rocket from 0 to 60 in just 5.3 seconds. That's muscle car speed in a family-sized body. For Eastwood, it was the perfect combo of brains, brawn, and utility, a car that redefined what an SUV could be. Then there's the Morris Minor Countryman, a charming, wood-framed relic from post-20M Britain. It may be small and unassuming, but its nostalgic vibe and nimble handling made it a standout in Eastwood's garage. It's proof that Clint's not just about horsepower, he's also got an eye for heart and heritage. From cutting-edge performance cars to vintage treasures, Eastwood's car collection isn't just a hobby, it's a reflection of who he is, bold, timeless, and always driven. One of his most heartfelt causes? Supporting veterans. Eastwood has long been a champion for those who've served, donating generously to organizations that provide housing, healthcare, and career support to struggling former service members. He doesn't just write checks, he uses his fame to bring attention to their needs, helping raise both funds and awareness. Eastwood has also been a major supporter of healthcare and medical research, funding hospitals and treatment centers so that more people have access to life-saving care. His contributions have helped push forward advanced treatments and improve facilities across the country. And as someone who's always loved the land, Eastwood has never been shy about his commitment to the environment. Back when he was mayor of Carmel, he pushed for smart development and green urban planning. Today, he's still actively involved in projects focused on preserving natural beauty and promoting sustainable living. What sets Eastwood apart? He's never done it for the applause. His generosity comes from a place of deep belief, a desire to leave the world a little better than he found it. It's part of a legacy that's as inspiring as any film he's ever made. Clint Eastwood has never been easy to box in, and that goes for his politics too. Once a Republican, Eastwood has voted across party lines and now identifies as a libertarian, choosing candidates based on their character and policies rather than party labels. His expectations. In 1986, he threw his hat into the political ring, running for mayor of Carmel by the Sea and winning. But instead of basking in the title, he got to work. He gave up his $200 monthly salary to support the Carmel Youth Center, legalized ice cream on city streets, yes, really, added public restrooms to the beach, and helped expand the local library. He wasn't there to play politics, he was there to fix problems and help people. Just like his film roles, Eastwood's approach to politics was direct, grounded, and a little rebellious, always putting principle over popularity. Clint Eastwood has never been one to follow the script in Hollywood or in life. Back in 2001, California Governor Gray Davis appointed him to the State Park and Recreation Commission, and Eastwood didn't just show up for photo ops, he took a stand. One of his biggest fights was against a controversial plan to extend a toll road through the natural beauty of San Onofre State Beach. He pushed back hard, defending public lands with the same tenacity he brought to his toughest roles. On the national political stage, Eastwood shocked audiences in 2012 at the Republican National Convention. In a now infamous moment, he gave a speech next to an empty chair meant to represent President Obama. The speech sparked headlines and confusion. Later, Eastwood admitted the moment didn't go quite as he'd hoped. Then, in true Clint fashion, he kept everyone guessing. In 2020, he bucked expectations again by endorsing Democrat Michael Bloomberg for president. While he didn't fully turn his back on Donald Trump, Eastwood did voice his discomfort with Trump's tone, calling for more respect, less name-calling, and fewer aggressive tweets. In short, less drama, more dignity. Clint Eastwood's romantic history is a movie in itself, full of twists, turns, passion, and plenty of plot twists. He married Maggie Johnson in 1953, but their marriage was far from conventional. While still with Johnson, Eastwood had a long relationship with actress Roxanne Tunis, and in 1964, they had a daughter named Kimber. Despite the affair, Johnson stayed in the picture, and she and Eastwood had 2 children of their own, Kyle, born in 1968, and Allison in 1972. But by 1984, their marriage came to an end. At that point, Eastwood had already been living with actress Sandra Locke since 1975. Still, even during that relationship, he fathered 2 more children, Scott, born in 1986, and Catherine in 1988, with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves. His breakup with Locke in 1989 was anything but smooth. Locke sued him for financial support, and although a settlement was reached with a supposed film deal through Warner Brothers, Locke later claimed it was a sham. She ended up suing both Eastwood and the studio. Meanwhile, Clint continued expanding his family. In 1993, he had a daughter, Francesca, with actress Frances Fisher. His personal life has been a whirlwind filled with love, betrayal, legal fights, and a steady stream of headlines. In many ways, it's mirrored the drama of his on-screen career, just without the director yelling "cut." Long before clean eating and fitness routines were trendy, Clint Eastwood was already living the lifestyle. Even in his Rawhide days, he was featured in magazines doing push-ups and preaching common sense health. More fruits and veggies, fewer carbs, less sugar, skip the booze. But his focus on wellness turned serious in 1970 after tragedy struck. His father passed away from a heart attack at just 64. The loss hit Clint hard, especially since his grandfather had lived well into his 90s. Determined not to follow in those footsteps, Eastwood doubled down on his health habits, staying active and focused even while juggling an intense Hollywood schedule. Though he avoided hard liquor himself, in 1971 he opened the Hog's Breath Inn, a cozy pub in Carmel by the Sea with an old-school English vibe. He eventually sold it in 1999, but stayed committed to the local scene. Today, he still owns the charming Mission Ranch Hotel and Restaurant, a beloved coastal destination. And if you think he just cruises around in limos, think again. Eastwood is a licensed pilot for both airplanes and helicopters, flying himself to shoots and meetings just to avoid traffic. Because of course he does. From political curveballs and headline-making romances to a life fueled by health, discipline, and adventure, Clint Eastwood is anything but ordinary. His story continues to evolve, just like the man himself. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next chapter.